With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
I know. Do you think networking is a kind of a lost art today?
I think it was lost after the pandemic because people were trying to network, not the wrong way, but a different way, and they lost sight of the true networking. You know, when I go into a networking event, I feel the vibe of the room. I'm speaking with somebody, I feel the vibe.
That was Michael Forman. He's an award-winning communication expert, and he's also a networking expert, author, speaker. So if you ever wanted to learn how to network with people in a much more effective and productive manner, this is the episode for you. So like and share this episode, and welcome to another episode of the Online Marketing Secrets Podcast. I'm your host, Lopez. So let's get started.
Sit back and relax and get ready for another exclusive episode of the Online Marketing Secrets Podcast with Lopez.
This episode is sponsored by Goody, the ultimate AI software for all your content needs. Whether it's blogs, websites, newsletters, articles, ads, LinkedIn posts, or even images for your social media, Goody has you covered. Here's how it works. Goody takes the hassle out of content creation by generating high-quality material tailored to your needs. Best of all, you can try it absolutely free for 7 days with full access. That's right, no cost, no risk, and you can cancel anytime. Getting started is easy. Simply go to lopezlasane.com/goody or click the link in the show notes to begin your free trial today. Don't let content creation slow you down. Try Goody now and discover the easiest way to supercharge your blogs, websites, and social media today. Don't wait. Go to lopezlasane.com/goody and get your free trial today.
So where you from?
Originally, I'm from New York, but about 7 years ago, I came down to Cumming, Georgia.
Oh,
and I've been loving life ever since.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I lived in the Atlanta area for 11 years, so I'm familiar with that.
Where are you now?
Oh, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now.
Okay, not too far.
Yeah, no, not at all. It's like 3.5 hours. I moved here 2 years ago.
What made the move?
I just wanted a slower pace.
Slower pace than Georgia?
Yeah. And plus, I'm getting older now. I just turned 50.
Well, you have a ways before you catch up to me. I just turned 62.
Oh, that's good, man. That's good. You still keeping it going out here and everything. So, how'd you get in the the networking space, the communication space? How'd you get in that area?
Well, about 100 years ago, when I was in the Air Force, I'm a Desert Storm vet, and when I realized that I had to tell people that was older than I was, but I outranked them, what to do and how to do it, and I had to do that so strategically, not to really piss them off.
Yeah.
So that was one way of networking, of getting my point across. Then I got out and I went into my own business. I had graphic design studios. I had a pizzeria, restaurant, that type of thing. And I dealt with my employees. I dealt with vendors. I dealt with customers, and all of which require a different way of talking to. because to get your point across accurately, you need to really to know what you're doing. I moved down to Georgia. I became the director of sales for a law firm. Before I moved down here, I was a manager in a mortgage firm. So I got a taste of having to speak with people on many different levels. So about the last 10 years, I've been on and off stages telling people how to network and communicate without really doing so. And the last year, I dumped into it full time. And now I go across the country. I talk about networking, about keeping your business afloat, doing it all the correct way, because I realized that really, as of the pandemic, people forgot how to talk to one another. They're relying on their cell phones and Zoom and everything else. They forgot that one-on-one personal touch. So I talk about networking events. I talk about meeting with prospective clients. I do workshops. I go into major companies and I do about a 2-hour workshop. And if longer, I do longer. But all of which is all part of the package, networking and communication.
Gotcha. So let's back up a little bit. How much time did you do in the Air Force?
9 years.
Okay, so did you have a plan? Did you plan to do all of this, or you were kind of learning as you were going?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. I was, in my 20s. I rose up through the ranks fairly quickly. I left the Master Sergeant after 9 years, and I had no idea that I would be doing this type of work. I just wanted to try to get ahead and try to be the best person I could be.
Yeah, because I know when I got out, I had a plan, but it just didn't work out.
It never works out. It never goes the direction which you think it's going to go. But you never know, because the people you bump into or the situations that you're in, you don't know. And it can steer you in a different direction.
Yeah, exactly. So I know. Do you think networking is a kind of a lost art today?
I think it was lost after the pandemic, because people were trying to network, not the wrong way, but a different way, and they lost sight of the true networking. When I go into a networking event, I feel the vibe of the room. I'm speaking with somebody. I feel the vibe from the person. You can't do that when you're texting. You can't do that when you're over Zoom. You just can't feel it. Plus, you're missing out on so much. You're speaking with the person, and so much is happening around you that you're missing out on all those pieces. Now, I've been on Zoom calls. I've conducted workshops virtually. I've had 30, 40, 50 people in my workshops, but you can't get a true feeling from those people. So I have to put humor into my workshops. I have to do a lot of storytelling, all those things that I do in my natural networking environment, but I have to do it a different way when I do it through Zoom or texting.
Yeah, that's true, because I've met a lot of people online since I got out. Basically, I got out in 2000, so that's 25 years. I've met I've connected with a lot of people online in my personal life and professional life. But you're right, there's you're not gonna really know if you connect or have something in common with somebody until you really meet in person. But the during the pandemic, I think a lot of people haven't really got back to being themselves. Or like,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But you have to realize before the pandemic, people were into building their customer list, getting as many customers that they can. And afterwards, I really feel that building relationships far outweighs that of building customers.
Yeah.
So when you used to go to a networking event, I was in a mortgage company. I was with a mortgage company. And I used to come home with a shoebox filled with business cards and say, oh, this was a successful night. But 2 weeks from that point, I would say, who are all these people? I don't remember them.
Yeah.
So now my suggestion is for a 3 or 4 hour event, you should really only take about 15 or 20 business cards, because there's a certain way that you approach at a networking event. Let's say you approach a table with 4 or 5 people, and then there's a difference between one person and 5 people. So you have to realize that you're speaking as the expert in your field, and what you say really better be intelligent, because otherwise you'll lose people. But there's a secret to the sauce on how you do it properly. My 30-second tagline is, I help professionals network and communicate more effectively and efficiently, thus creating more profit. And that's the whole crux of the situation. You have to network effectively and efficiently in order to gain the most out of it. And really, the most important thing you have to remember whenever you go to a networking event is you want to give. You don't want to receive. You want to give as much as you can. You want to talk to the people and say, how can I be your best referral source? How can I make you more successful?
Yeah, I've been to many events, some paid, some free. Have you found any? Have you found to have a different experience versus a free event versus a paid event?
Well, the free event, because now you're talking about the differences between conferences and seminars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so because seminars, a lot of them would be free. Okay, you go there and you listen and try to get the most out of it, but the people there is just that, it's people there for free. And you don't get the same type of person than if you have to pay.
Yeah, that's been my experience. I think I made the mistake that I would be able to meet the same type of people at both places. That was my mistake. Because when I would go to the let's say a meetup, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I would just assume that, hey, these people are more than likely corporate people, or they work, they're local, they work in some type of job. Maybe it could be a sales job or even maybe a business owner or whatever, right? I used to assume that it's probably going to be the same or similar versus me flying to Vegas to a paid event, right? But I was wrong. Mostly it's a different crowd in both environments.
Well, different crowd, because when you go online for a meetup and you meet in a certain area or place of business, that's usually small business. And salespeople from those small businesses all trying to make their mark. When you go to a conference, that's more for learning, and you network in between the classes or before or after those events. And so you really get to network that much more, but it really depends on where you are at. Because if you're self-employed, or if you're a salesperson for a small company, you go to those meetups and you may get the clients that you're looking for. But you have to remember that everybody there is doing the very same thing. What you wouldn't do, or what you are trying to accomplish, is if you walk through the door of a meetup, it's very small, after hours, after business hours, and you're there trying to help everybody else. Because what goes around comes around. So if you're out there, because if I give you a referral, and if next day or 2 days later, I find somebody that needs your services, I have them say my name, and you realize that I gave you a referral, you instinctively want to give me a referral back, right? So you want to help me. So indirectly, I'm helping myself by referring you. And if you do that enough times, then it goes around, it does come around.
Yeah, that's true. The funny thing is, I grew up and I saw my parents do the same thing. But me being, young, I kind of took it for granted. I didn't really realize the value of what my parents was doing until I got older. And that's when I was like, oh, that's why they were doing that. That's why they knew so many people. I kind of took it for granted. Because I'm like, in my mind, why do they know all these people, and what for?
Well, you have to realize that I did the same thing with my kids. My kids now are 29 and 33. Okay, but I was their baseball coach, football coach, basketball coach. I was involved with everything that they did because A, I wanted to be involved, but B, I got to know everybody. You volunteer not with the thought of gaining something out of it, but helping somebody else. When you volunteer, everybody else in that group knows you, and eventually they'll know what you do. So by volunteering, by coaching, by doing all these things with your kids, you're gaining that notoriety from everything and everybody. And now your network is growing and growing and growing. And it depends on how you spent all of that time is to see whether or not they actually respond. If you're saying, oh, I'm just a salesperson, well, that doesn't really resonate with people. You say, well, what do you do? Well, I help professionals network. Well, you do. Now, I always say my 30-second elevator speech should only be about 5 seconds. And you're like, 5 seconds? I help professionals network and communicate. I say that just enough to cause the person who I'm speaking to ask me a question. That's the sole response. That's the sole meaning of my 30-second elevator speech, is just to get them to respond. And once they respond, then I can respond back saying, oh, sure, I can increase your profits if you follow the networking effectively and efficiently. Well, how do you do that? So it starts back and forth. And that's the reason why you shorten that 30-second elevator speech. So circling back, that's what you do with all the people that you meet, all the people that your parents met, but they started small. And it grew and it grew and it grew until you realize that they know everybody.
Yeah. That makes sense because, I've had people walk up to me and they went on a rant. talking about what they did. And I'm like, and then they ended it and said, hey, is there anything I can do to help you? And I said, I don't know. And I really didn't know.
No. The whole thing is that when you're speaking to somebody, let them talk. You shouldn't be the one talking. You should be listening. You should be listening everything they talk about. And whenever you sit down with somebody or meet somebody, I always enlist something called FORM, FORM, family, occupation, recreation, and a message. I'm just trying to find that level where I can reach where they are on the same level as I am. So if I can reach through family, their son, playing Little League, playing first base, I mean, I can really drill down to the crux of it. And I would have them talk about, because people love to talk about themselves. They love to talk about their families. So let them talk. And then you go, okay, and bring it out to occupation. You say, well, what do you do? Oh, well, I sell boats. Well, you do. Where? How do you do it? Why'd you do that? Or, and ask them all sorts of questions. And they love to talk about themselves. And they'll give you enough information, because what you're looking for, every person has a problem. Every person has that thing that they have to handle. And your job should be, how do I solve his problem?
Yeah, that works perfect for somebody like me, because I like to listen more than I talk.
Well, that's true. That's what makes you a good podcast host.
Exactly. Yeah, So when did you decide that you're going to get on the stage and you're going to speak in front of hundreds and thousands of people?
Well, I wish I could speak in front of 1,000 people, but I made the decision to go into this full time about a year ago. But I've been going on and off stages for about 10 years. I developed 2 networking groups called Synergy, one in New York, one in New Jersey, with about 30 businesses in each. And I taught them how to properly network and communicate. It was a weekly meeting, like a BNI. It was a weekly meeting, and they referred back and forth. It was a great time. So, I sharpened my skills, even though I was teaching, because I learned just as much as when I teach. So I was on and off stages 10 years. About the last year or so, I jumped into this full time, and I'm going around to schools, to colleges, to businesses that will have a workshop, big enough businesses, conferences, seminars, things like that.
Nice. And so I don't think there's any area in life that there's not some form of communication needed. I don't think so.
That's true. That's true. When you think of networking, you think business. Okay, you're networking, you're trying to get business, but communication, that is for business, but it's for personal life as well.
Yeah.
And once you learn how to communicate with another person, that will help you along with either A, becoming friends, or B, finding out what they do for a living and turn it to business. But either way, you're communicating with them.
Yeah, exactly. So what's your opinion about this? Some people will say that you shouldn't do business with friends. You should somehow just keep your friends and family separate, and you should only have like business relationships only. What's your opinion on that? Well, I don't necessarily agree with that, because I have done things with my friends.
Okay. So remember one thing. People love to buy, but they hate to be sold to. Right? So keep that in mind when you're talking with family. You can explain everything that you have, everything that you do, everything that you can network and communicate, everything that you can say without saying, can I help you? Without saying, oh, you have a problem with that? I can help you. You can just leave it out there. And if they want your help or want what you have to buy, then they'll ask you. And then that takes the onus off of you and puts it on them.
Yeah.
So the same thing with friends. They know what you do. And if you have explained it properly, they know exactly what you do. And if they have that problem where you can solve it, then they will ask you. But you'll never have to ask them. That's my position.
Exactly. That's how I see it as well. I think somebody told me, somebody a long time ago said something. If you have to explain what you do a lot, you don't know what you're talking about. Somebody told me something like that.
Yeah, if you have to explain it in like 6 different ways, you should have a concise way to explain what you do. And for business, that's the reason for the 30-second elevator speech. You should be able to say exactly what you do in a short sentence. And if you can't, then you better start practicing and trying to get it down to that sentence.
Exactly. So if people wanted to reach out to you and work with you, where would they go to?
That's exactly it. Go to my website, michaelaforman.com. There you can see the different podcasts I've been on, networking, communications. You can see where I have my book, Networking Unleashed. But right next to my book, you have a PDF. And that's an unabridged version of my book, and that's totally free. So you want to get started right away, you can just download that PDF and just go. I haven't put it out there, but I just finished a digital course on networking and communication, and that'll be up on my website as well. There's a contact form on the very bottom. Put your information in, and I will get back to you within 24 hours. michaelaforman.com.
So there you have it. Like, share this episode. All links will be found in the show notes. Until next time, we're out. Peace.